Can you hear me?
Yes, Glenn.
Okay, you can hear me, but I don't know if anybody else can.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, because the mayor's asking if I can talk and see if they can hear me, but I'm not getting anything back from her.
I don't hear anything from them either. Mayor Carbone, can you raise your hand if you could hear me? Because I could see you. Nope. Commissioner Benedetto, dance. No. This explains why Carol asked me to help set it up, because she wasn't going to be able to be there.
I know she wasn't.
Huh.
I mean, I see a quorum, so if I have to hang up, well, you know.
I mean, we have other people called in as well. Bruno, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Hello. Hello.
All right.
Hello.
Thank you, Bruno.
Hello.
Recording.
There we go.
Oh, hooray.
Hello.
All right. Sounds better if you can hear us.
We can hear you.
We're good
Okay.
to go now.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Tripp, and our online support.
Thank you.
Okay. Just to bring you up to speed, the board did move to open the meeting to the public. There were no comments from the public. They did move to accept the minutes of the August 4th, 2021 regular meeting and accepted the same without comment. And we are now on item number 3 of the amended agenda, which I was calling for a motion in accordance with CGS section 1-200 subsection 7 to appoint the Board of Public Safety, the mayor and personnel director to serve as a personnel search committee for the purposes of recommending a candidate to be appointed as a permanent fire chief. Motion was made by Commissioner Benedetto, seconded by Commissioner Cogswell, and we're open to discussion. So questions or comments on this motion?
Just an update
We're
of,
gone again, I think.
You're what?
Glenn, we can still hear you.
okay, just where are we? I mean, obviously I understand what the motion is
Yes.
here, but where are we in the process or what's been
Okay.
going on?
So where we are in the process is the job has been posted, and it was recently reposted, including having been posted on the IAFF website to cast a wide net for applicants. Myself and Jamie Lemaire, personnel director, and Kelly from the personnel office met with 3 chiefs, Chief Oates, Chief, 2 other chiefs came in to talk about what the process would look like utilizing their services to help guide us through Q&A development and other elements that we'd be looking for in developing a fully articulated interview process. And our thought is when the applications come in, Kelly will assemble an Excel spreadsheet of every application that is received, and she'll vet those applications as to how they meet the requirements of the job as posted. From there, those applicants that qualify under the job posting would be sent to the team of 3 firefighters, fire chiefs. Here it is, meeting with the fire chief panel. It was Chief John Oates from East Hartford, Gary Merweed from Hamden, and Chuck Flynn from Suffield. They would then review each one of those applications for the technical experience. From that, they would cull it down to a number of applicants that we want to advance to the interview phase with the Board of Safety as the search committee. The Board of Safety would conduct those interviews. We're thinking first round of interviews, reduce it down to finalists, and then the Board of Safety would interview finalists and make a decision.
Thank
Now,
you.
this is the process for those of you that were on the board at the time that we used when we went out for the police chief search. So it's essentially the same process. Questions or comments on the process or the motion?
So the fire chiefs, the 3 fire chiefs will do all the interviews?
I'm not sure if all of them can participate. The panel of 3 will just do that initial review of the applications, formulate a recommendation of what to advance to the Board of Safety for interview. And at least one of them will participate in the interview. When we did the police chief search, I think it was the deputy chief from the Danbury Police Department, wasn't it? Doug?
Yes, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Just so that there's somebody with the technical, I mean, obviously you'll have technical experience and be able to, give us some guidance on that. But from the outside perspective, those technical experience.
The only problem I would have if water candidates come from those departments.
We did talk about that. They would recuse themselves from participation. They would not, immediately they would identify if there was a conflict at all.
Because a lot of these guys jump around.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And it was actually Chief Merweed that said, that there may be a possibility that could happen, and he would be right up front and recuse himself. And again, with the initial process being through our personnel office, every single applicant will be listed, how they fit the requirements of the job. So that list will also be available to the Board of Safety, in addition to the first round of cuts, I guess is what we would call it.
Okay, now you said one was from East Hartford, Hamden, and the other place?
Suffield, Connecticut.
Mayor, I have just one question. How long is the process going to be open for applicants? Is it a month, 2 months?
The job posting, we thought it would be best to leave it open right through Friday, the last Friday of October. I think, what is that, the 29th?
Okay.
And
Is that sufficient time?
the posting went out last week, so that it's almost a full month.
Okay.
And certainly if we're not happy with the applicants that we receive, we can certainly extend that. There's nothing that prohibits us from extending it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we should leave that opportunity open.
Absolutely.
Who knows? But and I just want to support the fact that we're having one of the at least one of the chiefs in the final process with the Board of Safety. That I thought that worked really well with the police chief hiring.
I agree. I think that whole search process was probably the model we want to follow going forward.
Yeah.
Not that I ever want to be looking for a chief again.
No.
With the posting that's currently out there, how many applicants have we received thus far?
I think that I heard that there may be 7 applications down in the personnel office at the present time.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments before I call the motion?
And do we have what time frame want to start a new chief? December, January?
I think this is one of those situations where you don't want,
Deadline.
exactly. You want to go through a process that is deliberate and, without any pressure that there's a position to be filled. I mean, obviously, we are being well served with Acting Chief Tripp. I think we're in good hands. I don't think there's any reason to rush through it. I did ask a similar question. I wondered when I spoke with the three chiefs if they thought the holidays was a difficult time to do this kind of search. And they did not seem to think that that would be a problem at all. So if we end up in January, or even a little bit later than that, no harm, no foul. Everybody agrees with that?
Yep, okay.
Good. All right, then I'm going to call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries. Thank you all. All right, item 4, I will entertain a motion to accept Police Chief Baldwin's reports for July and August 2021. Thank you, Commissioner Benedetto.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cogswell. Questions on the report?
I know it's hard, Kat, for you to answer. The overtime, it just seems to be, I think it was 150,000 for the last 2 months. July and August. Is there a reason why it's spiking? I know we're shorthanded, but is it car accidents? Is it summer events? Was it?
Let me just look through here quickly.
I know we had a lot of accidents the last couple of months, like 5 call-outs.
Yeah, so the fatal accidents that we did have AIT and stuff, they were, they were a busy team this summer. So that did cause some. A lot of it, if you look through, a lot of it, it was vacation and replacing some of our injured. We still have a significant number of guys out injured that caused the overtime. And also the short staff is causing it, so we can put guys on the street.
How are we doing with staffing, or how far are we?
So kind of jumping ahead. So we have 5 people in the academy right now. We're going to have 2 coming out middle of November. Then we're going to have another 2, I think, towards the end of December and beginning of January. We're in the process of, we have conditional offers out. We're trying to fill a couple seats in for this month in New Britain. We were just told today we have 2 more seats in January's class. So we held 2 rounds of interviews. So we're working, pushing, trying to get these open positions filled.
And with the 2 coming out of the academy, how many are we down?
I believe we're at 73.
73. Wow.
So we just lost an officer last week, or 2 weeks now, transferred to a different department.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions on Chief Baldwin's report? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, I'll entertain a motion to accept interim Fire Chief Tripp's report for July and August 2021.
So moved.
I heard Commissioner Benedetto and Commissioner McElroy. Questions on the report?
Chief, just about the trucks, thank you for updating us on the trucks. The windshield, how did the windshield get broke?
I was just made aware of that the other day. They had a call, Baker's Edge. I was actually on a Sheldon training, and they had to move the nozzle straight down on a 90 to get to the roof. They're probably too close. So not to take the nozzle on the roof, they put it straight down. When they swung it around, when they're short-handed, they swung around, they bettered it. It was still pointed at a 90.
Oh,
So I kind of hit the light and it hit the windshield.
oh, okay. So that's all set.
Fortunately, we were able to get a windshield, unlike engine 4, which windshields are over. Gary Damani will tell you too, his cars, you can't get windshields either. So it's not just fire trucks, it's the industry. Like, I mean, COVID ruined everything. So we were able to get a windshield and that'll be installed tomorrow.
Okay.
So I should have engine 2 and truck 1 both in service tomorrow.
No other issues with engine 2 is okay?
No, engine 2 is great.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for Chief Tripp? Hearing none, I'll call a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, I'll entertain a motion to accept Training Officer Shopey's report for July and August 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Benedetto, seconded by Commissioner McLeod. Questions on the report? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, I'll entertain a motion to accept Fire Marshal Becerra's report for July and August of 2021.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Benedetto.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cogswell. Questions on the motion, on the report? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8, I'll entertain a motion to accept the EMS provider activity report for July and August 2021.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Commissioner Benedetto, seconded by Commissioner McElroy. Questions on the report? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, I'll entertain a motion to consider business by the volunteer fire departments.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner
Second.
Benedetto, seconded by Commissioner Cogswell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So word of the floor. Anything from Drakeville, Chief Nicholas?
Just from us, you should have gotten our reports from July and August, I believe. So you still look through those, if there's any questions on those, let me know. And then, unfortunately, we did have a pasta dinner fundraiser this past weekend. Didn't go the greatest because there's a lot of fairs and whatnot going on. We didn't realize that last year we didn't have that, and this year we did. So, but we are planning a boot drive. We're trying to figure out the boot drive time. We're going to move it off of Water Street, and I think we're going to try to figure out another location to do it. So, you can hear more about that.
Very good.
About where we are, we did acquire some new, not new, shouldn't say new, is the wrong term, some more air packs, older air packs that are serviceable, and we did have them flow tested. So the 2024 date can get pushed out slightly if we want, but we still would need to buy new bottles. A lot of new bottles. We are working with that, trying to figure out that.
Thank you, Chief. Great.
We'll change it up tonight. Gary's gonna just sit there. Christmas trees will be coming in, hopefully the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That's what we're working on. Talking about the mayor, about some of them being done at the light up the tree festival thing. So we'll see what happens there. We did give out 4 black helmets for interior firefighters 2 weeks ago to our new members that passed fire one and got all the class taken care of. So that'll be a big addition to the city right there. 4 more interiors coming out of that volunteer. And the same thing with our airbags. We've got, I think, they fixed a couple of ours that were broken, needed service or whatever. So ours are all passed. But again, they're only good for another 2 or 3 years, and then they're all going to be out of service. So one new model. And Drakeville is going to take care of hose testing this weekend. So hopefully we can get everybody's hoses all tested and whatnot. Chief Tripp is going to try and take care of 17 downtown right now. He's going out again. So we'll see what happens there. That's it.
Thank you. Questions for our volunteer departments? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 10. I'll entertain a motion to consider business by department heads.
So moved.
Second. Commissioner Benedetto. I heard Commissioner Battle. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? To you, Captain.
I only had a few things that I went over with the chief. The chief's down at the Domestic Violence Awards down at Cove Park. Rob Simon and Brandon Kelly are receiving awards from Susan B. Anthony. So I'm filling in. So one of the, I just went over what the officers coming out of the academy here in November. We're still working with the ordinance committee on the overnight parking and the out-of-state registrations. That's going to be moving forward. One thing we are working on, I think maybe the chief mentioned it once before, we're in the early stages of testing new firearms. So once we get that done, we're going to, we'll bring the whole process to the board and like we did in the past. I think we showed what we were interested in.
Okay.
Captain, are you looking at new brands, get away from the SIGs?
Yes, so what we're gonna do is we're testing a couple of Glock models. We're testing a couple of Smith & Wesson models, and we also are testing a couple SIG models. We're gonna transition to a 9mm rather than a 45.
45.
We're still having some difficulty with our fingerprint scanner and communicating with the state, which was affecting our pistol permits and our applications. So we're still working on that, trying to get that resolved. It works, but it's a slow process, and the state needs to make a couple changes. Our PAL golf tournament, it was on the 27th. Was very well attended. The weather was perfect, and I hope everybody had a good time. And I think that's it.
Any questions? Thank you, Captain. Chief Tripp.
Thank you, Mayor and the board. I'd like to thank Firefighter Price for organizing our 9/11 ceremony again. He's fantastic at it. Unfortunately, he couldn't be there that day, so he had to fill in, which is Firefighter Westcott, who's the MC. So Jimmy helped us right after Friday, planning everything. Firefighter Menard for ringing the bell, and Lieutenant O'Donnell for at the podium. Also, Firefighter Matthews for getting together the honor guard. He does a great job, especially when I have a joint honor guard with the TPD. I think it looks very sharp, and I love the honor guard. Working together like that instead of having two separates. So that looks like a pretty good route that we're going to go down in the future, is actually getting both departments together at functions like that. And thank you all that did come. Recruits, give a little update. I want to thank TPD once again. The fingerprint machine did work for us when we needed it. So we were able to get those fingerprints done and processed in the background checks. I have 5 recruits up at the academy now. One had to step out due to an injury. He has been recycled to February. So under his new conditional job offer, he'll be going back in February up to the academy to catch up. The 5 recruits I know are doing well. That's the last report we got. I'm sure Commissioner McElroy can attest to that, because he's the boss up there. So he sees them daily. So everything's going very well for them. The recruit that I do have is on light duty working for me and us doing light duty stuff. And he's going through the process through Concentra. And as soon as he is well enough, I'll get him on shift to at least crew my overtime that's going through the roof. Guys did a great job at 298 Main Street, the Bessie Paint Store. It's a great stop. You all know that I put Torrington Fire Department above all. I would put them against anybody in the state of Connecticut and what we do. A quick response time, very professional, minimal damage to the building, and it was a great stop. So that structure should be coming back online soon, I hope. I also want to thank Drake and Torrington for I asked them to come out to the scene. They were standing by a station. They helped us out at the fire. I'm doing some overhaul on the 2nd floor. Thank you for coming down. And also Torrington for supplying Engine 17 with all of our frontline vehicles being out of service. Engine 17's at headquarters now as our spare. So to end my report on some bad news, I got 5 emails today from FEMA Go, and we have 0 out of 5 grants submitted. 2 grants, 1 grant was the Air Pack grant for the volunteers. And with us doing a joint kind of a regional grant. Another grant was the radio grant, which was hosted by Arlington Westside. I emailed Chief Kellogg when I started getting my denials, said, hey, did you get denied? He said, yep. So the radio grant from Westside and us got denied. We put in a safer grant, which is a manpower grant that Chief Tawi did, that got denied. A fire prevention grant got denied. That made it to peer review, but wasn't enough, they said. And we put in our own little mini grant, which I thought was a sure winner for our bailout kits for only $23,000, and that got denied. So I'm going to be in touch with FEMA, probably tomorrow or Friday. Dave Parr for Region FEMA 1. He was very good to us, and he's going to give me, he'll be able to give me some ideas why we're getting denied. I thought we had some winners in there going to West Side as a regional, and Chief Towie still thinks it's called by him. So I'm going to investigate that a little more details, and I'll have more information for the board as to why we keep getting denied in these grants, because it's heartbreaking for us. We keep trying and just keep getting smacked down. So we don't know why. Other than that, that's all I have.
Let me ask a question.
Please, yeah.
Any area departments were successful that you're aware of?
This round, no. Winston and Norfolk got the radio grant, basically the same radio grant we went for, got it last year. So, yeah,
I'm just want, Litchfield County in the general area, and no one
Yeah,
is even
there's-
successful in any grant whatsoever.
There's many grants. A lot of these volunteer departments, I know, hire grant writers that actually go out for the AFGs. So I'll be looking down that road in the future.
Thank you.
Chief, and just in your report, you had 3 people resign.
There was 3, yes, that was back in August. Lieutenant Brown left for a job in Simsbury. He's in the Simsbury Fire Marshal's office. He's a full-timer there, and that's where he lives. The firefighter Farrell finally resigned, and firefighter Julo actually retired with 26 years.
Thank you.
Other questions on the report? Great. Anything from Trinity this evening?
No, the only thing is Trinity is recognizing Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So our employees actually purchased T-shirts, and 100% of the proceeds is going to go towards breast cancer treatment. So you're going to be seeing a lot of us this month just wearing pink shirts. So that's really about it.
It looks good on you. Other questions? No. All right, we'll move on. Item 11, I'll entertain a motion to consider business by the mayor and members of the Board of Public Safety.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Benedetto, seconded by Commissioner Cogswell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll go to the screen first. Anything this evening, Commissioner McLeod?
No, I'm all set. Congratulations to the 2 officers that got the awards tonight down at Cove Park. And just wanted to say to Chief Tripp or Interim Chief Tripp and the fire department, keep trying. We appreciate the work you do with the grants. And I know it's frustrating, but keep up the good work. Keep on trying. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Bingham, anything this evening?
My voice isn't really working, so I'll just abstain. Thank you.
Commissioner McElroy.
I'd like to thank the volunteers in the Torrance Fire Department for the job they did on Main Street at the fire there. It was a good quick stop. And the police department, I noticed, has been out a lot more in the middle of the night patrolling areas in the outskirts where I normally don't see them because they're very busy. But I see them now. I'm watching all the time, and I see them patrolling some of the side streets, back roads. I know there's been a lot of car break-ins and stuff, so I like seeing them moving around a little bit.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner.
I just have one thing for police department. There's been a lot of complaints, and tell me if I'm correct, about speeding and traffic. If there's no traffic, and not saying there's no traffic for us, but people are running red lights, stop signs, and it's kind of getting out of control. Have the department got any complaints?
We do have a traffic complaint guide that we hand out at every shift. It's gone over. Each guy takes out, or not each guy, each shift is assigned a traffic location or a radar location. So radar is out there almost every day, every shift. And, what we do is we pick, areas that we're getting complaints on, and we'll go from there and set the traffic up. If Sergeant Baldwin is also we have the 4 signs, 2 state-owned signs for the speed, and we'll put those in areas. Sometimes, we'll put them up and just they're enough to slow people down, and we'll leave them up for a couple weeks and so. And it also tracks, the number of cars and people coming through and what the speeds really are.
Is it because we're shorthanded? Is these guys running call to call? Is that why there's not more enforcement?
I don't.
Or they're just too busy to?
I don't know if that's the case. I mean, I know that the guys are out there and most of the guys are stopping, at least 1 car a day. And, yes, we are shorthanded, but I mean, they are still out there making the stops and doing that. I think that if you look statewide, speeding is all over the place and has been an issue at a lot of places. But, we do have guys out there running radar and making stops during the day.
I know, it's just traveling East Main Street is a speedway.
This is a conversation that Chief Baldwin and I had late last week. It is a statewide problem. There is, I don't know if I'm going to use the right phrase, but there is somewhat of a loss of control over road or traffic conditions. Not sure if that's part of the fallout of the pandemic, where people weren't driving on a regular basis, and there was less traffic. But this is a statewide problem, just as, car break-ins are on the uptick, car thefts are on the uptick. And this is, as I say, something that even with our Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, a team of municipal leaders have assembled a new committee, subcommittee to start reviewing all of that and make recommendations to the state legislature for the next session, because it is a problem.
Back we had a problem a few years ago, and Kathy, you were probably involved with it, when they had a regional team that we send guys to different towns and they'd come to our town, and it'd be a day or 2 days of enforcement.
Yeah, that was probably more than 10 years ago, at least.
Yeah.
And I remember, yes.
That worked out pretty well.
Yep. It was one day in, I think, Winston, one day in Thomaston, one day here. And they had a guy from DMV there also.
Something else we can look at.
Yeah.
And fire department, good job. And Trinity volunteers, thank you for your service. You guys did a good job. We had a lot of fires lately, and good job on Main Street. You saved my cousin's buildings right behind it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Cogswell.
Just overall, thank you to the departments for their hard work, and especially the most recent fire, and our volunteers for being there also. And just one thing I did want to note, and this was the first time this past year that I participated in National Night Out as a Board of Safety member. And I'd be remiss if we didn't recognize Mary Ann Barberi, who unfortunately passed away recently. I didn't know her well, but her reputation has always preceded her in being a block watch captain and being a big part of Night Out. And I'm just happy that we were able to go to her house on National Night Out as one of our first stops to recognize her, unfortunately before her passing. But just wanted to make sure that she received that recognition here at the Board of Safety meeting tonight. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that you did that. Commissioner Battle.
Yes, just want to thank everyone for their service. You guys do a really good job, and we're always checking in, but our neighbors are always letting us know, what you're doing. So we really appreciate your service and your work. Thanks to the volunteer department. I wanted to say to the chief of Drakefield, we love the reports. Thank you for that. And
Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking a little bit about the ARPA, the American Rescue Plan funding. I did a public informational on Monday evening for the members. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at the PowerPoint presentation that we had been presenting to City Council, Board of Finance, the public on Monday.
Hello.
Hi. I,
Oh,
You still at work?
yeah,
When you go home?
just finishing up now. There was a meeting.
Bruno, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you hear from Melinda with the paper that she signed?
Oh, yeah, she mailed it on Monday.
could you?
There, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you go over there at the secretary, whatever it's called?
Well, no, we got to get
through the city council meeting.
it.
Oh, so she didn't mail it back here
Yeah, she signed it and she mailed it to you.
Monday.
Yes.
I feel
Okay, thank you. All right, so, so ARPA, now I lost my train of thought. So the PowerPoint presentation is on the city's webpage. What I wanted to talk about is, as I was listening to Chief Tripp, oh, it wasn't Bingham, it was Bruno. It was our reporter.
There's the rat.
I know, really. So, as I'm listening to him talk about the AFG grant applications and how disappointing it is, I mean, it's not new. It's something that we repeatedly have happen. We always go in hoping for the best and walking away empty-handed. So through the American Rescue Plan funds, we keep reading through the guidance documents and the funding objectives, and we do believe that through the funding objective for increasing communication to the public and for public safety, that this radio system should qualify for funding. So we have set aside for infrastructure improvements and public safety enhancements, 53% of that ARPA funding, roughly $5.3 million. $3 million of that would be the radios. And that would give interoperability between the fire department, the police department. I believe we were looking at the schools, Torrington Area Health, and I'm assuming also the volunteer departments.
And Public Works.
And Public Works. So, so we are going to pursue that. What we're going to do is, our thought is, we don't want to make the assumption that this is automatically qualifies. We're going to build a case as to why it should qualify. And we're going to submit to the U.S. Treasury our proposal to expend the $3 million for the radios under the funding objective that it improves communication, particularly as it relates to communicating all of those executive orders that came out at 9 in.m, they were changed at noon, and they were changed again at 4. And that instantaneous communication, interdepartmental communication was critical. And put it out there, let them give us feedback. If it's approved, and I'm going to be hopeful when it's approved in the second year, third year of this, we would be able to invest in those radios. So this is everything that the fire department has been working towards. Did some fund sinking to accomplish this. I think there may be $40,000 in your capital reserve for that. But that's such an important thing for us. And we really do need to move forward on those radios. That is joining the state's network, radio network. In addition to that investment, we also recognize that in the police department and in the fire department, there are HVAC systems that need to be upgraded. So working with Chief Tripp and Chief Baldwin, we identified some of those short-term investments that can be made. I say short-term, I should say immediate investments that can be made to improve ventilation and HVAC systems so that our departments are safer and better prepared to mitigate any impact of any future pandemic or crisis. The $50,000 of that funding has also been earmarked to undertake the feasibility study of combining or creating a public safety complex. This was something that we were holding on to by our fingernails during the budget process. It's something that we know will increase efficiencies, increase economies. We strongly believe that this is where we should be going, especially in light of the aging infrastructure. Police department that's in a 110-year-old building, a fire department, while the headquarters are good, we know that what we really need is great. And how that relates with ambulance and bringing everybody into one campus. So that is also intended to be paid for out of the ARPA funding. For the volunteer fire departments, we are also setting aside, in addition to the 53%, roughly $5.3 million. We're establishing a grant fund with approximately $3.6 million for our not-for-profits, which is what the volunteer fire departments are. Some of our social care providers, businesses. And I very much see our volunteer fire department being well-positioned to submit a grant application for some of those funds, for those air packs, or some of the other improvements that you need to make. And we've recognized that in all of our thought processes. So while we're still in the early stages of working our way through these tranches of money, we do have until December 31st of 2024 to appropriate the funds, and to December 31st of 2026 to spend the funds. The first half of the 10 million we're in line to receive is already sitting in our general fund account. And in June of 2022, the second 5 million comes in. So we're really in a position to start pushing these funds out to better position the city of Torrington to respond to not only a pandemic, to any emergency. And I thought it was important for this board to know that those are the goals that we have set aside. As I say, the presentation is very high level, says essentially what I gave you in Cliff Notes. But as we get further into the details of what the grants look like, we will absolutely bring all of that to this board so that there will be some decisions and guidance that we get from you. So any questions or concerns about any of that? Thoughts? Good?
Yeah.
All right. All right, well, if there are no other questions or comments, there being no further business before the board, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Benedetto and Commissioner Cogswell, all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.